Today's intelligence briefing is all about deconstructing love bombing. We're not just going to look at it as some simple dating red flag. No, we're going to analyze it for what it really is. A deliberate strategy, a form of weaponized affection that's engineered to systematically shut down your critical thinking.
The only relationship worth having is one built on days, not declarations. Let that sink in for just a second. That single idea is your #1 defense against the very tactic we're about to expose. It's the total opposite of how love bombing works, which is all about these huge, explosive declarations designed to bypass the slow, steady, and frankly essential work of building real trust.
Section 1, the affection weapon. So here we get into this really wild paradox. How can something that feels so good, intense affection, constant validation, be used as a strategic tool for control? Well, this isn't about the joy of a new connection. This is a meticulously calculated campaign, and the objective is acquisition.
And that leads you to the one question you have to ask yourself when you're feeling that rush. Is this real love, growing at a normal pace, or is this a calculated strategy designed to get something from me? Just being able to ask that question right there, that's your first line of defense. It gives you the distance you need to actually analyze what's going on.
Let's just be clinical for a moment. Love bombing is a high-intensity coercive control tactic, and its one and only goal to disable your critical thinking. The way it works is brutally effective too. It taps into this universal human need we all have for connection, for validation, and it offers it up like an instant emotional reward. It's a powerful high, and it's intentionally designed to be addictive from the very first hit. Section 2, the paralyzing conflict. Okay, so now we're going to shift from what the manipulator is doing to the internal state they create inside their target. And you have to understand, this feeling of confusion, it's not some accident or a byproduct. It is the intended, manufactured outcome of the entire strategy. You see, the goal here isn't a happy, stable partnership. It's to create a crippling state of confusion and emotional imbalance. If you have ever felt this, please hear me. It is not a sign of your weakness. It's a sign that the tactic is working exactly as it was designed to. It's meant to throw you off balance, to make you question your own reality. And this right here, this visualizes the engine of that confusion. It's called the cognitive dissonance trap. On one side, you've got this vivid, powerful memory of that perfect partner from the beginning, right? But on the other side, you're living the cold, hard reality of today, the emotional withdrawal, the manipulation. Your mind is trying to hold both of these things as true at the same time, and that internal conflict, it's completely paralyzing. So why does that paralysis happen? Well, the manipulator is exploiting a really powerful quirk in our psychology called loss aversion. Your brain becomes laser focused on the intense fear of losing that perfect, idealized connection from the beginning. You're not trying to fix the messy reality of the present. You're just desperately trying to get back to that initial fantasy. And that fear is what completely short-circuits any rational decision-making. So you really have to reframe the entire situation. We're not looking at a broken relationship dynamic here. We are analyzing a system of emotional leverage. That initial flood of affection, it wasn't a gift. It was a strategic investment made by the manipulator to get the leverage they always planned on using against you later on. Section 3, anatomy of the trap. All right, now we are going to deconstruct the manipulator's blueprint, step by step. You have to understand the mechanics if you want to recognize the pattern and ultimately disarm it. But before we get into the how, we need to be crystal clear on the why. What's the end game? The goal is to engineer something called an attachment trauma bond. This is this deep, powerful connection to an abuser, but it's not forged through trust and respect. It's built through these intense, unpredictable cycles of reward and punishment. It feels like love, but it's actually rooted in fear and dependency. Okay, so here it is, the 4-stage blueprint for control. It kicks off with the front-loaded investment phase, which we'll call flip. That's followed by reciprocity pressure. Then comes the critical stage, the devaluation phase, and it's all locked in with the final step, emotional isolation. Let's break down each one. Step 1 is the flip. This is the initial blitz, the love bombing itself. It's this rapid-fire, overwhelming campaign of attention, validation, and, this is key, huge promises about the future. And the whole point of the flip is to move so fast and be so intoxicating that it just completely bypasses your rational mind. It secures your commitment before you've even had a chance to think straight.
And here's the leverage point. Right after the flip, they hit you with reciprocity pressure. By giving you so much, so incredibly fast, they create this overwhelming feeling of emotional debt. You feel this powerful obligation to match their intensity, to reciprocate their commitment at that same crazy speed. If you try to slow down, you feel rude or ungrateful. And that is all part of the trap.
Now this is where the trap closes, the devaluation phase. Once they've got you committed, all that overwhelming affection is suddenly, unpredictably yanked away. This triggers your loss aversion, and it sends you into a state of psychological panic. Your brain, which is now addicted to the high from the flip, just goes into this desperate compliance mode. You'll do almost anything to get that good feeling back.
And this is the moment control truly shifts. The final stage is emotional isolation. The manipulator starts to subtly, or not so subtly, cut you off from your support system. Friends, family. They position themselves as your only source of validation. They become the sole gatekeeper to your emotional reward system. And that is what solidifies the trauma bond and cements their control.
Section 4, the addiction mechanism. Now, to really understand why this tactic is so devastatingly effective, we have to look under the hood. We have to see how it targets the basic wiring of the human brain's reward system. This isn't just about psychology, folks. This is about physiology. To put it simply, love bombing hijacks your brain's reward pathways, and that's not a metaphor. The manipulator literally acts like a drug, creating a powerful biochemical addiction inside of you, an addiction they can then control by either giving you or withholding the substance, which is their affection.
Just look at what's happening in your brain during that initial flip. It is getting flooded with dopamine, that's the pleasure chemical, and oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It's a powerful cocktail that feels amazing. But notice what's happening to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles logic and rational analysis. It's basically being shut down by the emotional high.
This chart puts it in black and white. Your emotional intoxication is through the roof, and your rational analysis, it just plummets. This is not a character flaw. This is neurochemistry. The whole system is deliberately designed to get you emotionally intoxicated so that you are physiologically incapable of making a sound, rational decision.
And then there are two other powerful psychological hooks that lock you in. First, intermittent reinforcement. By making their affection totally unpredictable after that initial flood, they create the most powerful kind of addiction known to psychology. It's the same exact principle that makes slot machines so impossible to walk away from. Second, the sunk cost fallacy. You start to feel like you've invested so much emotionally that you have to stick it out. You have to endure the bad stuff just to justify that initial investment.
Okay, we have deconstructed the trap. We've looked at the mechanics. Now let's talk about how to disarm it. Section 5, the time protocol. This is your actionable, strategic defense designed to neutralize the manipulator's control.
Look, the manipulator's greatest weapon is speed. So your primary countermeasure has to be enforcing a speed limit on intimacy. You have to take conscious control of the relationship's pace. Time is the antidote to love bombing because time allows for observation, and observation is the enemy of deception.
But to use this defense, you've got to be able to spot an attack while it's happening. So what is the number one signal that you're being love bombed and this isn't just genuine, healthy affection? The signal is actually very clear and very precise. It is unjustifiable speed paired with low verifiable action. Unjustifiable speed sounds like talking about forever after just a few weeks. Low verifiable action means all these grand promises that are never backed up by small, consistent, reliable behaviors. The gap between their words and their actions, that is your signal. So here's the 3-step protocol. First, you have to recognize the intensity and just refuse to accelerate relationship milestones. You control the timeline. Second, you state your boundary using a clear, neutral script. And third, this is the most important part. You have to shift your entire framework for judgment. You judge the relationship based on sustained behavior over time, not on intense declarations. And this is your tool, a simple, neutral, and totally non-negotiable script. I really appreciate you telling me that, but for me, I need to build trust through consistency over time. Now, a healthy, secure person will hear that and respect it. A manipulator will push back. They'll try to make you feel guilty, or maybe they'll accuse you of being cold. Their reaction to this boundary will tell you everything you need to know.
So this all comes down to adopting a new mental model. Think of it as the pace versus verifiability check. You're just constantly asking yourself two simple questions. Is the pace of this relationship appropriate for the time we've actually known each other? And are their big statements verifiable through small, consistent, non-self-serving actions? That check is your shield. So we've covered the strategy, the psychology, and the countermeasure. Now let's just boil all of this down to the one core principle, the one thing you need to remember. This is your strategic takeaway.
The core strategic insight is this: intensity is not depth. See, intensity is a feeling, it's a chemical rush, and it's actually pretty easy to manufacture. Depth is a quality. It's built slowly, through shared experiences, through vulnerability, through consistent, reliable character. A love bomber offers you intensity and promises depth. A healthy partner builds depth with you, day by day. So, your final directive is to protect your judgment. See it as a strategic asset that you have to guard at all costs. You have to guard it from the powerful, intoxicating lure of instant approval. Because real validation, the kind that actually builds you up, isn't a flood. It's a slow, steady rain.
And so we end right where we began, with a mental weapon that contains the entire defense. The only relationship worth having is one built on days, not declarations. Let the declarations fade into the background. Watch the actions. The days will always reveal the truth.